Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I just read The Triumph of St. Katherine by Danie Ware, and it's a bit of a mess. For starters, Black Library has provided this convenient story blurb on their website on what the book should be about. A story of internal struggle and redemption from shame during a big war on the planet Kairos. And technically this is in the book, but this is not at all what the book's about. What the book is really about is that one of the saints of the Triumph of St. Katherine has died in battle, and thus the battle sister has to be promoted to the position. The main character is chosen because she got prophetic visions and she has to go through a sacred ritual to be fully promoted to the new St. Katherine. During this ritual, which forms around 90% of the book's content, the saints from each order tell a story that exemplifies the values that her order holds in high regard. And yes, there is a bit of battle afterwards. But again, this really just functions as a wrap-up, and I don't get why the Black Library phrased the premise this way. Especially because this around the campfire story setup makes this book quite innovative and unique in Black Library. Oh well, I digress. The big highlight of this novel is that Ware has done a great job at fleshing out the personalities of all the saints in such a way that you can pretty much understand their order, even without further knowledge about the Adeptus Sororitas. From the way they speak to the way they compose themselves, everything fits their respective order, and by putting a representative from all major orders in the room, their differences contrast very well. Not to mention that the banter between these saints is marvelous. It goes without saying that the sisters are a bunch of zealots and they take different points of view as well as you'd expect. Especially Saint Sylvana from the Argent Shroud and Mina from the Bloody Rose really get at each other's throats at times. To provide a Space Marine equivalent, the Argent Shroud is a bit like a mixture of the Raven Guard guerrilla tactics mixed with the White Scar rushing strats, while the Bloody Rose is all about facing your enemy face first in glorious combat. So yeah, you can imagine a Raven Guard and a World Eater trying to agree on combat tactics, while they also both believe that the tactics of the other one are like low-key blasphemous. Really enjoy the interactions, and fuck me, now I want to paint some Battle Sisters. That being said, this book also has one major flaw, and that is the almost atrociously shit writing style. I don't know what happened here, but it goes from nonsensical metaphors to incoherent grammatical constructions to just putting down some words without any meaning. I mean, why would you include verbs in your sentences? They take up so much space and you can easily do without. Or why would you come up with new adjectives when one is perfectly adequate? The clothes are covered in soot, the wind is full of soot, the voices sound like soot, the ground is colored like soot, your mom is soot. I also really would like to know how someone can simultaneously tell a story, pray, sing and cry. I could go on for a while, but I think you get the point. On top of this, the book is already really short, with barely 140 pages of content, and still the author feels the need to constantly repeat stuff. One character will say some sentences, only for two other characters to parrot the exact same thing 2 pages later. Or during one of the stories when the narrator starts crying, Ware doesn't just state this once, but instead feels the need to repeat that she is still crying like every 5 sentences. Seriously, you could condense this book into 100 pages easily without removing any real content. The final point I would like to make though is that I really like the way Ware handled the storytelling aspect from a writing perspective. The perspective frequently switches back to the present where the sisters will have a small discussion, or where you get a bit of a description on what's going on around the chapel where they're sitting in. This makes the story a lot more immersive than if it had just told the story and only switched back to the present at its conclusion. So all in all, I'm giving this one 3 to 5 female World Eaters, but it's a bit closer to a 2 than to a 4. The Triumph of St. Katherine has an interesting story setup and does a great job at showcasing the different sororitas orders. So if you like the sisters, then I would still recommend you read this one, but otherwise feel free to skip it. Anyway, that was all I got for you today.
If you liked this video, please consider subscribing and click ringing the bell to appease the Great Horned Rat. For more lore content, please check my main channel and leave any book recommendations in the comments down below. I gotta get back to reading the next book.